Hi, it's a beautiful day, isn't it? Well, I'm not where you are, or possibly I cannot see where you currently are at the moment, but that you're alive and that you're watching this video, it's a beautiful day, so you ought to be thankful. My name is Esther Wajuku, and I will implore you to subscribe on my YouTube channel at EstiQ Media. Okay, we're also on Spotify. I have several contents on Spotify as well as the website, so you can visit the website www.estiqmedia.com. That is EstiQmedia. You can subscribe on there as well as send mail messages and make your comments too. On Spotify, it's EstiQ Media Podcast on Spotify. There are several contents that could soothe your content crave that you would listen to and indulge while you do whatever it is you want to do. And of course, on YouTube as well. Very easy and good to go. We talk all things related to your lifestyle, what suits you best, and how you can improve yourself in whatever category that you intend to improve yourself. All right. Now, today I want to look at a few ways through which we can try to handle social media pressure. Trust me, social media pressure is not just for teenagers. I want to say every age category is going through that at the moment. Let's not deceive ourselves and think that we are off it, or it's not affecting us, or we do not in some instances wish our lives were how some of these videos we see on Instagram and Twitter are, or we wish to have attained a certain status that we watch on via social media, or the way we see some persons dress, the lives they live, the cars they buy, the posh phones they also purchase. It is not a lie. Subconsciously somehow, you wish it, you crave it, you hunger for it. And so the next thing you want to do is, how do you acquire that? How do you get to that status? Well, that is the conversation we're going to be having today. It may not be a full conversation, but it is something that we need to bring to our awareness, and it's a conversation that we need to have, we need to talk about. Now, we do know that social media is becoming a problem for many. However, in as much as it has become a challenge, the social media platforms have actually had positive impacts in persons' lives, in lives of the entire world actually. Instant access to the world, business development such as to follow the lives of loved ones, have access to seeing loved ones anytime that we want, and also giving us opportunities. In fact, intimate relationships have been developed via this platform, so we cannot discredit it. But what is the problem? The other hand here is that we see users who compare their lives to others, attempting to live up to certain standards, showing off their possessions, feeling low, seeing how good others have it or how well they are doing. It is important for us to have some certain pointers on how to make sure that our subconscious is reminded that we must not compare our lives with others, and that sometimes what we see on social media is actually not real. A lot of people do this just to get views and likes. Apparently, that is a culture of the day. So, remember, for one thing you have to put in mind, that you also need to constantly remind yourself subconsciously is the fact that there are no perfect lives. No life is perfect. Everyone is going through challenges. Even the most beautiful woman in this world, or the most handsome man, or the richest man, or whichever person who has a higher status than you, you'll be so surprised to know the challenges they're going through. All right? Now, think about the last time you posted on social media. Did you upload your best pictures, or did you upload pictures where you looked gawky, where you looked funny, where you didn't have your best angles, or the right strobe of light reflecting on your face, or the right cut, or the right pose, the right composure? I'm sure we do a lot of all that. We also have applications where we're able to make some contouring, do some changes to have the perfect physical look. Well, remember, nobody is perfect. It is your imperfection that makes you original. You need to remember that. So whenever it is you think you see somebody that has the perfect physique or that has a perfect life, you'll be so surprised that that person actually envies your own life. So what do? Social media is a means, or is a platform where glamorous lives are actually put out there. Passionate romances, happy families, beautiful babies, animals living a beautiful life, supposedly. It depends on how the cameraman is videoing the lives of these animals, because sometimes you don't want to see how wild and creepy animals can be, especially certain carnivorous animals. So it depends on the content this particular cameraman wants us to see, so he shows us that. But it is also important to know that you are not perfect, and that the other person who uploaded a video or a picture whom you envy or whom you want to be like doesn't have a perfect life. Remember to put that in your subconscious. Also, do not compare yourself to others. I don't think you want to be in that person's shoes, or you don't want that person to be in your shoes. You'll be so surprised that sometimes the simpler you live your life, the better for you. So no two people can be the same, and we all go through our own journeys at our own time. It's always very notable to realize that every person has a journey, every person has a timeline, every person has a path. And there's a timeline to get to that path. There's a timeline to get to a particular location in your life while you're discovering yourself. If person A has discovered themselves, you don't know the journey they went through to discover themselves. So that doesn't necessarily mean that it is your time to discover yourself just because person A is advertising how glamorous their current position is. It is important for you to take that opportunity, challenge yourself, and see how you can make yourself better. The beautiful thing though about social media is that I think a lot of people are beginning to realize that it is not all about having to seem perfect. Persons are now coming out in their original forms and sharing their challenges. And trust me, the platform has been helping to make lives better than the way they currently are. So, however, it is important for you to put in your subconscious that life is not a competition. If you don't put that in your subconscious, I don't know what's going to happen to you. You may definitely go through mental depression, and you don't want to do that. Going through mental depression is not a scenario you want to find yourself in. Now, when you're feeling low in spirit, sometimes intellectually, sometimes emotionally, what happens is that you start scrolling through social media to get distractions. So you're feeling lonely, something bad happened, you don't know who to call, to speak with, to tell that this is what you're going through. And so the next thing, you take a phone and you're clicking, you're pressing, and you're looking, and all of a sudden you come across a friend who is saying, oh my God, I just went to the Maldives and I'm so happy. I'm experiencing quite a lot of things. The methods are so beautiful. I'm happy and excited. Unfortunately, please, I am begging you, that is not the scenario. What you think is a life is definitely not it. So try as much as possible not to scroll through social media. What would you do? You could look for a book or listen to music and try to liven up your spirit. At all, if you have to watch or go through social media, maybe read the news. If you currently live in Nigeria, I don't think listening to the news is going to uplift your spirit. But it is important that in that moment when you feel low in spirit, it is always advisable for you not to go through social media. It may worsen the scenario, or you could specifically go to some contents that are kind of comical. Yes, that is the aspects through which social media can be beneficial to you when you go through contents that are comical. So there are some skits that are very funny. Once you watch them, you keep on laughing. There are some cartoons too that are quite interesting and very funny too. So you can actually take your time and indulge in those contents, liven up your spirit, keep yourself out of whatever quagmire you found yourself or whatever it is that is pressing you down. All right, that is one aspect that you can probably utilize social media rather than having to go through some celebrity status or going through your friends' channels, platforms and checking up what they're doing. Don't do that. Remember that sometimes it is about make-believe. Fake it till you make it. That's how some people do it. All right, so try not to be one up on others. What does that mean? Try to be as real as you can. I said it earlier that everyone is going through challenges. Your life is not better than the other person, and the other person's life is not better than yours. What do you want to do? You could use whatever current circumstance you're going through in your life and share it. You can never tell whose life you're motivating, whose life you're propelling, or possibly the lesson you're teaching somebody. So how do you do that? If you're living a stressful life, if your work is not giving you the breathing space, it's not giving you the enabling environment, post it. A lot of other persons who are experiencing what you're experiencing. So put it out there. That's the reality of the situation. Let me give you an example. A few days ago, there was something trending on Twitter about a lady called Auntie Esther. All right. So, a lot of people do this thing on Twitter where whenever they want to advertise their product or content or whatever it is, they go on the trending tweets and then put it there. So, whenever you're reading up people's responses to something that is already trending on Twitter, you're seeing several adverts or handles that people are asking you to click and check them out. So, apparently, Auntie Esther, in order for persons to, have to patronize her services and whatever it is she's able to offer, she goes on the people's tweets and then puts that, oh, my name is Auntie Esther, I do this, I do that, I would implore you to please visit my channel or contact me if you want me to get stuff for you. And somebody responded in a very condescending manner. The person said that she should never ever try sending such a tweet, or rather writing anything under her comment anymore. And guess what? You'll be so surprised. Sometimes you'll be so happy to be a Nigerian. Nigerians decided to propagate Auntie Esther's tweet and everyone was retweeting it. You'll be so surprised Auntie Esther was trending. Do you know what happened? People loved the fact that she was legitimately hustling. People were happy because times have changed now. A lot of illegitimate things are going on. Young persons are getting involved in things that they ought not to get into just because they want to be rich, just because they want to be popular, and they want to make money the quick way. However, this woman is being industrious, but she just needs a channel to advertise herself, and who knows? You could actually need her services. You just do not know that there is someone offering such services. So she decided to use social media to propagate what she does. And somebody tried to insult her, but guess what? It actually escalated her. And a lot of persons were retweeting her. People were checking her profile on Twitter. And I'm sure Auntie Esther has had a lot of orders. In fact, some people went as far as donating money to her, asking her to drop her bank account and donating money to her so she can actually expand her business. That's one of the plus of social media. But the good thing is that Auntie Esther was legit. She was real about her hustle. So I'm sure doing this on my channel, I'm also promoting Auntie Esther. Coincidentally, my name is Hester, so I'm promoting my own hustle. We should also try as much as possible to reduce our social media usage. Trust me, it is not easy. It's so bad right now that families no longer communicate because they're always going through what is on their phone. So you see parents and their children come to the dining table to eat dinner, but you see the father checking the phone while eating. You see the child or the either the daughter or the son absent-mindedly eating while they are checking social media. Parents are trying to form conversations with the children, but they cannot communicate because they're busy checking out whatever it is that's going on the phone, what's trending and commenting. You see underage children who have access to these platforms. Possibly there are some children whom the parents can afford these very flashy accessories like these phone gadgets, and they're not of age, but you see them having access to Twitter and Instagram and tweeting and being abusive. A lot of them even indulge in cyberbullying. There's nobody monitoring them, so you can never tell what they're doing, because when you check out the handles of some comments some people make on social media and you see the profiles of these persons in real life, you'll be shocked to see a 12-year-old or an 11-year-old being the person to tweet such harmful and dark comment on social media. For a child who ought to be, would I say, have a light spirit as best as possible and pursue their dreams, you see them get themselves involved in social media bullying or insulting persons that they know in real life they never can address. Anyway, what am I talking about? I'm trying to say that it is important to try to reduce your social media usage. So how do you do that? There are some persons I know that have a list of what to do's for the day, meaning that today they decide that after work, this is a book I intend to read. I'm going to read like 2 or 3 chapters of this book, then I move on to the next thing. They try to create chores that would keep them occupied, where they do not necessarily have to rely on their phones or visiting social media platforms. So when they see all the things they make sure that they need to achieve for the day, social media may not even be in the picture. So when you make sure that every time, whatever it is, your to-do list, your to-do, and it's ticked before the day is gone, you go home and you sleep. You can only access social media if whatever it is on your to-do list is what you need to publish on your social media. And that is especially for creatives. That is one of their to-do, what they have to do on their to-do list. In such instances, maybe, but then you curb the way you use that particular interface. All right, so it's also necessary for us to know that you can post when you actually have something to post. So I work in a broadcast organization. I'm a newsreader. I also try to create content. This is basically what I'm trying to do. I also try to be carefree as best as I can, because the nature of the job I do, the aspect I am into is quite serious. But I try to show the other side of me, which is me being free. I love to dance, even if I don't know how to dance. I love to listen to music, danceable music, not those ones that makes you begin to reflect on, God, I wish I had known. Oh God, when will you come to my life? Oh God, when will you make me better than So I try to listen to music that will make me dance and just be happy. Sometimes when persons view my status on my social media accounts and they're wondering, why is this girl always dancing even if she doesn't know how to dance? That is just been me trying to be happy and trying to just have fun in my own little way, in the little time that I have for myself, compared to other activities in which keeps me busy for the rest of the day. And trust me, I'm an early bed. I go to bed as early as possible. In other words, what am I trying to say? Post only when you have something to post. Try as much as possible to post that. That is an aspect of my social life. I also try to post my work most of the time so that you can refer to me, especially when somebody needs services when it has to do with social training, etiquette, audiobook recording. If you need someone to train your personnel on public speaking, mannerisms, and of course, basic presentation, as well as, editing, lifestyles, all of those things are basically what is on my channel. If you have subscribed, you definitely have been able to see it. So that's what I'm doing, and that's basically what I use social media to do, which I know quite a number of people use social media for. But anyways, if at all you want to post something, post it when you need to. Another thing is also to consider is considering social media detox. So sometimes celebrities will just go off social media. They will delete all their posts, and you see their followers crying, what's going on in this person's life? Why is this person deleting all their social media posts? What is going on? In fact, speculations begin to fly around, some false information about what's going on in that particular celebrity's life. No, I'm sure they have life coaches and they have persons who are talking to them, people who advise them, people who just help them to have a calm spirit and have their brain straight on. So sometimes they do social media detoxing. They deactivate them. Some of them actually go as far as deactivating their social media accounts for a while and acting like nothing, not even explaining to their followers while they deactivate it, and act like nothing happened. Some of them actually do some unfollowing, especially when they feel that, some persons are not adding to their social media lifestyle or to their circle, they unfollow. Not necessarily that there's anything wrong, they just decided to do it. It's called social media detoxing, and I feel that most of us can actually do that sometimes. It helps you not to rely so much on social media to keep your day going. It helps you not to start obsessing unnecessarily over persons' lives or what you see there. Remember, again, sometimes what you see on social media, especially Instagram, is make-believe. Some persons you see there, when you see them in real life, your current state of living is actually better than theirs. Why am I bringing up this content? Quite a number of young persons have actually been trying to live what they see other people upload on social media. It's so bad right now that you see young persons within the age of 11, 15, and 20 and upwards trying to become adults. They have forgotten that life and living is a process. So a 20-year-old girl recently passed on from BBL. She was trying to do butt enhancement, and I don't know how that procedure went wrong, but she passed on. A very young, beautiful girl who is still in her 20s. That young girl, I don't even think she has begun to experience life. She wasn't patient, and just because of what she sees on social media, she started making inquiries. She wanted to have the perfect figure like she sees other ladies display on social media. Unfortunately, she passed on. It's either things weren't done well, or somehow she developed an adverse effect on whatever it is she was given. That is what the disadvantage of trying to live a life that you see on social media. So I don't want to use this generation because we have intelligent persons in this generations. In this generation rather, we have able-minded, strong-willed and spirited, young, creative individuals who are making the waves and making this generation one to reckon with. But we still have such a number of people who are not having to cope with the social pressure. So they're literally getting buried in the wave. It's important for you not to get buried in the wave, especially with social media. Utilize social media to help promote yourself. promote your work, advertise what you can advertise, and possibly, expand relationships and friendships that will be beneficial to you, either intellectually or someone who can help upgrade your life, in terms of someone who you look up to as a life coach, or someone who can actually steer you in the right direction. Your spirit will definitely guide you, especially if you're able to hone into your sense of discretion. You will definitely be guided. All right, remember that I told you that you can actually subscribe to EstiQ Media website. It's www.estiqmedia.com. You can also subscribe on Spotify. Interestingly too, all you need to do once you go on Spotify, if you do not have, please download Spotify and go on Spotify. You're going to see several contents. Just type EstiQ Media podcast. You see a lot of content in there. And on YouTube, it's EstiQ Media on YouTube. Subscribe, share, make recommendations, comment. I'd also like to hear your experiences, if at all social media has made your life better, or in some way you almost got buried by pressure of social media. How were you able to cope with it? All right, I'd like to hear that in your comment section. So have an amazing day and see you next time.